Hi guys. It's a nice sunny day today. I just like it when it's sunny. I really like it. And as you guys know, I've got SAD. So when it's sunny, it really affects me in a good way. So I feel kind of, they talk about that runner's high, the endorphin. I get the sunshine high, the UV affecting my UV rays affecting my brain chemicals, whatever they are, serotonin, dopamine, whatever they are. But I feel really good. Vitamin D could be, or a combination of all of these things. It's not a placebo. It's real. I had a comment on the stabbing video, where I spoke about myself when I got stabbed, when my mum was going through chemotherapy, and one guy said, show me the scars and show me your toe, that fell off. I made a mistake. It wasn't my toe that fell off, it was my toenail became black. And then I actually, after a few weeks, I showed my mum, I pulled it away from and it was all sticky. And she said, "Oh, isn't that painful?" I said, "No, I can't feel it. It's not painful at all." And it fell off and then grew back. Scars on my body, I'm not going to show my fat belly. They're only small scars. So, what I will show is when I find the clipping. I've got the newspaper clipping. Once I find it, I'll post it up in the community tab. There's no point making a video just because some guy didn't believe me. Yeah, but anyway, what he said something like, he shows himself to be timid and anxious and shy, and then he shows in another video that he got into a fight, they got stabbed, and then he says, what I didn't like is that a lady just said, why should he show such a traumatic and like a personal event? Why should he show you? And he said, because I smell bullshit. And I checked this guy's channel, right? And he had a video of himself and his family or whatever, and he seems like a really nice guy. I mean, if you see his video, he's nice, it's a normal bloke, like a nice bloke. Like, you wouldn't have thought that he would give that comment. And when I did work I worked in Safeways, and I just worked for a few weeks. I've never worked, but I'm not going to count like working 2 weeks in Safeways as working, because basically I failed. I couldn't take it that long. So I worked in Safeways as security, and you wouldn't believe the kind of people that I caught. Elderly people, elderly men. You don't think that they're going to steal. No, these women in burqas, they look quite nice. Old women stuff things under their dresses or whatever. A nice girl, you think, oh, what a nice girl. You don't know who's going to be the person who's going to commit that crime. Now, I caught so many that you wouldn't think they were robbers or were going to steal anything. So, as they say, looks can be deceiving. So going back to myself, I banned the guy. I don't like banning anyone because he looks like a nice person. But, his words are horrible. I smell bullshit. It doesn't make, what he's saying doesn't make sense. It's as if like a person is either completely shy or or a complete nutter. No, you can be shy and then you can be a bit nutty as well. So I don't have to, but I'll explain myself, my character. I am a shy person, and I was a good person. I was a good child. I was shy. I'm an only child, and so only children tend to be more shy. They can be shy because they don't have a chance. Well, I didn't have a chance to play with brothers or sisters. I had a cousin who was my age, and he was like my brother, but he wasn't with me every day. So I used to play with plasticine with my hands. You know, as I said, I used to do boxing. Like, these two are heads, and these two are like, this is the right hand and left hand. Used to do that. You know, on the floor, and play with plasticine. Yeah. So going back to, I was always a shy boy until I got bullied at school, and then so I got traumatized, and then I didn't become a shy boy anymore. In fact, I became like, I'm not saying a monster, but I became really aggressive towards the people that bullied me. And but that wasn't me. That isn't me. Because I know that isn't me because it's an extreme anxiety state whereby I get really aggressive. I can get really aggressive, and that aggression is, the way I can explain it is like from like the depths of hell. Something comes up, some primal thing, and it's horrible. It's horrible, but it takes a lot to, like a dynamo. If someone was hitting me or abusing me, it would take a long time for me to explode. But once the explosion happens, then for a few seconds or whatever, there's no going back. I have to shout or smash something, and that's what I don't like about myself. But I think it's because I've been traumatized. It's not me, you know. So going back to, I was a nice kid, really nice kid, up until I was about, when I was 13, I don't know what happened. I was an intelligent kid. I was top of my class. Within 6 months, everything changed. I was top of my maths class. I was first in the test, and then within 6 months, I wasn't even entered into the exam. Something happened. I just dropped like this. But I think, my brain chose. My art became really good. I got A's all the time. So I think I chose to focus more on art and not on analytical things, So I just moved in one direction. So what happened was, yeah, so at school, when I was in the sixth form, I stayed till the sixth form, and there used to be a girl. I was 17 at the time, and the girl was 14. She was a Greek girl, really pretty girl, and myself and my friend Jerry, another Italian guy, he's the only Italian guy in the school, we chatted her up, or tried to. We're just talking to her. And her boyfriend, this guy, he was 19, he used to hang around the school, he found out. And this guy, he was an Indian guy, but he spent a lot of time with Pakistani people. And he was kind of like a rebel, because, Pakistanis and Indians, sometimes they don't get on. So he was involved with a Pakistani gang. And I remember when I was in the fifth form, this guy, I think, was he at school? Because he stayed no, he was hanging around as well. Anyway, there was a guy, this skinhead, what's his name? Atkins, Stephen, is it Stephen Atkins, this English guy. It was really funny. It was a nice guy. And I saw him get beaten up by this guy. Let's call him Nitin. That's not his name. There's a guy, Nitin, and what happened was loads of black kids started to, maybe about 10 or 15 black kids started to beat this guy up as well. They joined in because this guy had an uncle who had a shop, and he used to make friends, this guy, by giving all these black kids um, sweets and stuff. That's how he used to buy them. He used to make friends. And so he had loads of people on his side. And I thought, my God, that guy's... So he was like a renowned troublemaker. No one messed about with him. So when he finished school, he still used to... The next year, he still used to hang around the school. He had a car and he had a gang. And they used to always get involved, love fighting with other gangs, apparently. And they used to say, oh yeah, this guy, he knows some black guys with guns, you know. At the time, it was like 1983, you know. And I was only 17, you know. As a child, as a young kid, you're scared about things like that. I was doing my art A level, and I was doing really well. So, yeah. So I have to reverse a little bit. So he said, on Willesden High Road, he was driving, and I was with my friend Jerry. We were just sitting on the wall, and he came out of his car, and I thought, oh my God, that's knitting. Oh. And you know, I was scared of him, but my friend Jerry wasn't. And so he said, do you know who I am? And I said, yeah, I know who you are. I was all nervous. And my friend said, no, what's your name? And he gave the name, and he goes, hey, look, I heard you've been talking to my girlfriend. And I said, no, we just talked to lots of girls, you know. And I was really nervous. And he said, yeah, could you do me a favor? I want to see if my girlfriend is faithful. Could you talk to her today? Just ask her out. And then Monday, just come when it's you know, break time, I'll come and see you. Just let me know what happened. I said, oh yeah, okay. Because I was so scared. I was shit scared of him. And so my friend, I discussed it with my friend, that he said, yeah, all right, you can do that. If he leaves you alone, then, you know. So what happened was, I was really scared to do it. And then, you know, I had a girlfriend at the time. Her name was Debbie. And she said, don't worry, I'll get my friends to come over, some Irish friends and English friends. They'll come in the van, and if there's any trouble, then, you know, they'll look after you. So I thought, oh, great, you know. So come Monday, I spoke to the girl. I said, oh, would you like to come out with me? I felt really uncomfortable saying it. So, and she said, oh, no. I said, oh, sorry. And then I left. And then I went to meet this guy, and Debbie's friends, this it was a van of like English and Irish blokes. And I said, no, I don't want any trouble. And she said, no, they'll come and make sure you're all right. They didn't turn up. They're not going to turn up for me. They don't know me. So I was there on the side road of the school, and I was just waiting for this guy knitting, and he came with 3 carfuls of people. And I thought, oh, I'm gonna get screwed. Yeah, I'm gonna be in trouble here. So what happened was, he came. A few guys came out of the car. There was this black guy who went to the school. He was a year younger than me, and another Asian guy, like Pakistani, I think, or Indian, I'm not sure, but probably Pakistani guy, who were in the 5th form. And there was a guy who was about 30 years old. And so there's this knitting or whatever, the main guy, he was about 19. So he was asking me, what did she say? And I said, oh, she said, no, she's not interested. So I said, you know, your girlfriend's faithful, so it's okay. You know what he said? He said, no, she didn't. She said she wants to go out with you. I said, no, she didn't say anything like that. I swear. He said, I was conned, basically. He basically got all these guys to duff me in. And, you know, what a coward. You know, I was 17, right? And I was as shy as hell. I wasn't like I am now. And things like this made me into what I am now, or part of my character. So I said, no, please. You know, I was being really nice to him, because that's all I knew. I don't know about fighting. I don't know about conflict or anything like that. You know, I've always been like shielded from all this by my parents, defended by my parents. You know, and so what happened was uh, they all crowded round me, and some of them were giggling and saying, "Yeah, you're gonna have to call an ambulance soon. You're gonna get effing beaten up or something." You know, I can hear them laughing, a few of them. Um, and then this guy, this 30, probably in his 30s, he said, "Listen, all you have to do now is say sorry to him in front of all of us, and then you don't get beaten up." And I said, "Yeah, okay, okay." I said, "I'm really sorry. I'm sorry I asked her out, you know." And I didn't even say that. You bloody asked me to do it. I said, "I'm really sorry. Please forgive me." I think I said, "I'm really sorry." And I was nearly crying. And then I just turned around and walked away. And I think one of them spat, or I don't know what it was. And then from far away, as I was walking I was just hoping I wouldn't get beaten up, because I'm not looking. And they were laughing. And as I walked into the school, the worst thing is, one of us, he was saying, "Italian poof, faggot." And that's the point when I started to, like, wake up. I started to get angry. So, saying faggot, Italian poof, and stuff like that. How can I fight against all those? I would have got beaten up. I didn't even want to fight against even the kids that were a year younger than me. I wasn't that kind of person. I love to do art. I love to do the bloody airfix kits. I never thought about fighting or anything like that. So I got so angry when I went inside the school. And then afterwards I spoke to Jerry and I said, "Let's go and talk to that girl. He's not going to stop me from doing that." And so I spoke to her again. I said, "Sorry about what happened earlier on." Uh, then I said, "Yeah, it's your boyfriend. He asked me to do that, you know." And I said, "Sorry about that." And so she said, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay." And afterwards, he found out and he went nuts. I had to keep going to school with the. I went to school, and in those days, you can hear the car screech, and he was going around the school looking for me. And so what I did is, Jerry, what he did is he brought his mum's, what's it called, rolling pin inside his bag. And I had some stick and I put it somewhere in the corridor where if I ran to that corridor, it's a dead end. And I hid it near quite high, somewhere where no one would see. It's just a little stick like that to protect myself. Oh, so what happened? Yeah, so nothing happened for a few months until one day he caught me. I was talking to some guys who left the sixth form a year before. One Greek guy, and he had, the car, the Star, was it Starsky? No, not Starsky and Hutch. The other car that was really famous in the 1970s, Dukes of Hazzard. He had the same, like, that line. It was a red line on the car, and I think it was the same car. It was so cool. And I was looking at it, and he arrived, this guy, with another black guy, Conrad, the guy a year before me. And so, with a deep voice, he said, "Hey, I want to speak to you." So I said, "Oh, okay, okay." And he took me into, stairs that go up the various floors, and there's a door that goes into that stair area, so it's enclosed, nobody can see. The guy Conrad, this black guy, young guy, younger than me, he was 16. He was waiting outside the door. I thought, what's going on? He's just going to talk to me. And so he said, "Hey, oh, big man," because he can see that I'm weak. He can see that I'm shy. He can see that I'm a boy that doesn't want to fight. Right? He said, "I heard you got a stick you got a stick for me inside inside the hall to defend yourself." I said, "No, no, that stick is just messing around. and he slapped me on my ear. Slapped me on my left ear. I had a little stud earring. Boom! It came out, and my face was all red with his paw mark. I said, "No, please, man, don't." He said, "You spoke to my girlfriend afterward." Boom! Again, like boom, really hard. It was so painful. I said, "No, please, man, please don't hurt me." And then again, boom, another one. 3 times he hit me, and I was like on the floor. I was crying, but I just switched. That moment, I just switched. I got up and I said, and these are I know they're stupid words, okay? These are my words to him, right? I said, "If you ever touch me again, I'll fucking get the mafia onto you. Don't ever touch me again." So that must have freaked him out, because he backed off and he said, "Yeah, mafia, you don't know anything." And I said, "Don't touch me again, please." So I went home. I burst through the doors and I was just crying. My face was all red, and it was swollen, slightly swollen with the marks of his bloody paw. I went home crying, and I never told my parents about any of this. If I told my dad, you know, he would have been in massive trouble. You know, he would have found out where this bloke lived, and he would have at least spoken to his parents. At worst, he would have done. Anyway, I don't know what he would have done, but I didn't want my parents involved, because things, even at that young age, I know things escalate, and then you can't go back. Bad stuff happens, you know. Yeah, I said that stupid thing. I don't know. It just came out of me. I thought I have to say something to scare him, because I have to defend myself. And the only time I ever got angry. Anyway, summer came, and it was I was doing my A levels, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm progressing in life. I'm gonna do well. This guy then, he continued. My dad came to pick me up, because he was. I told him. I said, "Bah, I'm scared. There's this guy." I told him everything, and there was a cousin of mine from Sicily who came to stay with us for a few weeks. He came in the car. He said, "Don't worry, if I'm there, no one's going to say anything." But they don't know this guy. This guy's a bastard. This guy, you know, well, he thinks he is. He's not real. So what happened is, that fateful day, the last day I went to school, which I could never go back because of what happened. The next day after this, I went to school with 2 policemen on my side. I've bloody been traumatized. There's a side of me that's really shy. My natural side is shy. I love art, you know, I love meditation and stuff, but there's a side of me that is a bloody beast. A side of me that came out, that had to come out to defend that shy, that little kid. My dad came to pick me up. I remember we had a black Panda, a Fiat Panda. He came to pick me up. We parked his car, and then I came out. That bloke was there with that girlfriend, the 14-year-old, and another girl, and 5 young guys, 15, 17 or whatever, and he's 19. He's there like chilling out, and I saw him, and then I walked away. My dad said, is that Nitin? Is that guy?" I said, "Yeah, it is, but." He said, "Walk that way." I said, "No, I don't want to do it, but I don't want trouble. Look," and my dad, I would do the same. I would say to my son, "Walk that way. If that bastard attempts to get near you, I'll give him what for." So I listened to my dad, because I'm kind of scared of my dad. He was a short, stocky, very strong, really deep voice, really loud voice. You don't mess around with him. He said, "Go that way." I said, "Oh God, okay, all right." So I was walking, and I was trying to not look at that guy. I was walking up that road. He saw me, and then one of the girls was screaming, "No, no!" So this guy, this Nitin, he put these black gloves on, and five guys came across the road. He came up with the usual bullshit, the usual BS interview, like some statement. So he came to me. There was two or three in front of me, two behind, and he was on this side. And I said, "Oh," I didn't even say hi. I said, "Oh," acknowledged him, and he put his gloves on. He was putting his gloves on, and he grabbed me and he said, "I heard you've been talking about me." I said, "No, no, no. I never talk about you. I'm sorry. Please leave me alone." He pushing me, and he said, "I heard you've been talking to Bernard." Like Bernard was a black guy who was in his year, but I knew some black guys, and that were older than me. So I must have mentioned, "Oh yeah, there's this guy knitting. I've had a bit of a problem with him. I don't understand why he doesn't leave me alone." Something like that. So yeah, it may have gotten to this guy called Bernard. He was a boxer. He was really a tough guy. Not really tough, but tough. So he must have known him. So he said, "I heard you've been talking to Bernard about me." I said, "Look, please, I don't want any trouble." Then I heard my dad, because my dad had a walking stick, even though he was a little bit not. It was becoming frail, but he's Sicilian. He's even if his legs are chopped off, he will do something with his arms. So he arrived, and he was shocked because my cousin was there. He's blonde and like quite stocky and short. And my dad said, "Who is knitting? Show me which one." And I pointed at that one. And immediately he grabbed the cane, boof. He just hit him on his forehead. And within seconds he was bleeding everywhere. And I was just shocked. I just didn't know what to say. I just stood back and I froze. I froze. It was like a horror film. These other kids jumped on top of my cousin, and he made a stance like karate stance and went, "Ah!" I don't know what he did, but he did something like this, and one of them actually pulled some hair off his head, and he started trying to punch, and I don't know what he was doing. My dad said, "Come on, let's go back into the car." So we went back into the car. Yeah, we got back into the car, and my dad was quite nervous, switching on the ignition. Within seconds, like, I was in the back of the car, and I can see what's his name? I think it was either Conrad, or the black guy, or another, the like Indian guy or Pakistani guy in the fifth form. I saw one throwing a metal bar, and it's like I can remember seeing it come slowly and boom, hit the front of the windscreen. The windscreen cracked, and a bottle came on that side, on this side, on the windscreen, and on the back. I turned round, and it was that guy knitting with a big, like a huge stick. It was like it wasn't a stick. It was like a bamboo, like or a thick, really thick stick. He was smashing where I was behind. He smashed the windscreen, and I was like, and I think that's the beginning of my like claustrophobia. I was stuck in the car. It was hot. It was summer, and we were being smashed from this side, smashed from this side, and I was feeling panicky as hell, and it was so traumatic. My dad got pissed off. He opened the door and he chased after the guy, and the guy ran away. So they were throwing brooms. I mean, basically, we were in the car being pelted by stuff, and I felt that I had to get out. I wanted to get out, but I couldn't. Oh, it's horrible, really horrible. So a teacher arrived, and she said, "Don't worry, I'll be a witness to this." Just saying this story is like stressful. I'll be a witness to what happened. And some kids were saying, "Ah," black kids were saying, "Oh, I wouldn't take that." I don't know what the hell they were saying. Basically, we drove to the police, and there were reports that, obviously he went to hospital, and then, he explained basically that my dad beat him up or whatever. So in the actual when my dad went to the at the station, they arrested him. you know, and he had to get a Sicilian interpreter and to say that he had to write a 12 page statement. And yeah, we explained everything to the police, and the next day I went to the police. Sorry, I went to school with the school with two policemen on my side, and I said I'm really scared because this bloke, he knows people with guns, some black guys. I just said, I was a kid. I said, look, this is all I know. People talk about this at school. You know, some black guys with guns. I don't want to go back to that school. They said, don't worry, we've got a van around the corner if anything happens. I said, none of you are armed. If anything happens, it'll be too late. So they convinced me to go to school because I had to make a statement with the bloody, what's his name, a liberal, Mr. Bag, his name is, the head teacher. He had a massive beard, and he's like, when I say liberal, I mean, he said, oh, he used to vote Labour and stuff like that, and talk to us about that kind of political stuff. He was a lefty. I mean, lefties are all right, but this one wasn't so all right. I'm not a right wing or left wing. I don't care. But anyway, well, I didn't care at the time. I still really don't care. Yeah. So what happened was the police were asking me questions, and he had a few of these guys in the gang. To be honest, I don't even remember what they looked like. I know what this Nitin looked like. I know the black guy Conrad, and I know the Asian guy, I won't say his name, because they were in the fifth form. These guys were all new, these other guys. Maybe they obviously they came to the school, but they all looked the same, like they were Indian or Pakistani, had a little bit of a moustache, all three of them. So I've only ever saw them maybe once. And I didn't really make much notice of them because I was focused on the guy's going to hurt me. So this Mr. Bag, he had these three young guys, and I swear I'd never seen them before. Even though they were part of that group, I wasn't paying attention. And he said, "Are these the boys in the gang?" And I swear to God, I swear I said it really, really innocently. I said it. But obviously it sounds really bad. I said, I don't know. They look the same. They all look the same to me, these three guys. I've never seen them before. This guy went nuts. This teacher went nuts. When I said that, one of the policemen like sniggered, went, and I didn't mean it. I just didn't mean it. I thought, what did I say? Afterwards, I realized what I said. But I didn't know anything about bloody racism or anything like that. I had to be taught what racism was by the bloody teachers. We didn't know about any of this stuff until the teachers bloody taught us. And yeah, and all their left-leaning politics and stuff like that, they had to tell us, oh, it's wrong, and So you know what he said? He said, that's a very racist comment you made. And I was just like, again, bloody traumatized. I went red, and I said, I didn't know what to say. I really didn't know what to say. Like, that guy was sniggering like that, and he was laughing. They kept asking me different questions, but because I was traumatized, I was like put on the spot, and I was like kind of abused by that teacher. That is so he said, that's very racist, or pointing at me. That's a very racist thing to say. And like, that racist, I don't know what it is at the time, but I know it's something bad. And so, but the thing is, I didn't bloody mean it. I didn't mean it that way. I just meant they look the same because I've never seen them before. And yeah, it is kind of racist, but I didn't mean it. I didn't. Obviously, I wouldn't have said it to the headmaster in a situation like that with the police. I wasn't that bold. I was a shy kid. I just blurted that out. I didn't mean it because I'm shy. I don't want that kind of response and being put on the spot. The rest of the statement, I don't know what I said because I was so stressed out, that I'd said something really bad, but I didn't. It's just like you say something bad, but you don't realize it, and then you think, oh no, that was bad, but I didn't mean it that way. What way did you mean it? I don't know, but I didn't, you know. Anyway, so yeah, so I made that statement, and then what happened afterwards was my dad, he wasn't prosecuted or anything because they had weapons. They used weapons against us. My dad used one of those weapons against him. The thing that bar that he had that we smashed in the car with. My dad picked it up and then flung it at him. He ran away. Yeah, it taught him a lesson. Basically, he slapped me 4 times, and he got 8 stitches on his head. I didn't want that. You see, I didn't want any of this. He started it. And then even with my dad, I wanted to walk the other way. I didn't want trouble. But yeah, I was traumatized. And then after that, my studies, I was supposed to go to art school because already I would pass my A levels just like that really easily. I couldn't finish my A levels. I was really, really scared about this guy, and his black friends have got guns. So it was summertime, and I said, "Bah, I'm scared. I don't want to go out. I don't want to leave the house. I'm scared he's going to come to the house." And he saw that I was terrified, and he said, "Son, you're going to come to Sicily for 3 months, at least 3 months, 6 months." He said, "This bloke will not come to our area in Sicily. If he comes, he's brown bread. There's no way he's going to come with his black friends, his Asian friends. No one's going to come." He said, "Don't worry." In fact, there's something I have to say, that this bloke is lucky that he basically messed around with people that he knows he can mess around with, like those English guys, and there's some English guys you can't mess around with, or Irish blokes, but he sees people that are weak and basically a coward and a bully. So my dad, at some point, we had a talk or a meeting in the family, and he says, I can't forget these words, and this is the most frightening thing that he said. It really frightened me. He said, "Don't worry." He was talking to another uncle or someone. He said, "All it takes is, I just call 2 lads from a village. There's a village somewhere in Sicily. Just pay for their trip, and he'll be finished." I overheard him say that, and then afterwards, no, later on, I said, "Baba, please don't, please, I don't want anything like this. I don't," because I knew if anything like that happened, then like those people want retribution. I don't want to be involved in any of this BS, And I said to my dad, "Please, no, just go. Let's just go to Sicily. He won't dare come to Sicily, And he said, "All right." But just the thought of him, asking, not hiring, or asking 2 blokes from a village to come and deal with this guy, that really, really frightened me, And I was just a kid, and I thought, my goodness, I don't want to be involved in anything like this. I never asked for this. So nothing like that happened. Maybe he was just saying that, maybe it was just, like loud, talking amongst the Sicilian friends, maybe it's just all. But my dad, he wasn't someone to mess around with, he was a tough, really tough bloke. He used to work on, very tactless as well, like old school. He used to work as a builder, like a laborer, and he used to carry 2 50-kilo bags. He used to put it on his back. And I said to him, "No way, you can't carry 2 50-kilo bags." He said, "I didn't carry them. They were put on my shoulder, and I had to take them somewhere." And I thought, 100 kilos, that's a lot. But then I thought, he's short and stocky, and it is possible. It wouldn't pass the, health and safety standards nowadays. You get a bloody hernia. I get a hernia lifting a bloody 20-kilo bag. But, the dog food, the kibble, I pick it up, and then was it a day later, I've got a pain in my back. Because I'm on tour, the leverage is different. And also, I wasn't brought up he was brought up. He had a rough life. Anyway, I'll talk about him another day. But yeah, so what I did is I stayed in Sicily for between 3 and 6 months. Yeah, the nice holiday there, but then it got really boring. Came back to London, and then I found that I had to go out into the big wide world, into the wide, and then try and find a job. And that's when my problem started. I started to have social anxiety. I felt I had claustrophobia, but I didn't know at the time. I didn't link, that possible trauma with me being shy anyway, and I didn't want to meet people. It was a disaster. If I went once to an interview and I became so red because one of my parents' friends, he was like bloody bullying me. It was just traumatized, and he was laughing and saying, "Come on, don't be so red." And then another bloke was laughing at me, and by the time I went for the interview, I was just like spent emotionally. Then I started to have this shyness phobia. It's called erythrophobia, fear of blushing, being red in front of people. I had claustrophobia, and God knows how I, you know, during the 80s and 90s, how I just scraped through. I just My dad didn't understand why I had this anxiety, this depression, this shyness. I always avoided people. But then this is coming to the conclusion. I started to learn martial arts. I started to think, okay, I have to learn how to defend myself. And yeah, I got into that mindset of, I don't know, as I grew up, I encountered other things, other guys. And at some point, I just flipped and I developed this aggression, which is has it's to do with anxiety, isn't it? And I reached a point where I don't know, my psyche, my mind realized that I have to be aggressive. I have to be bloody aggressive, otherwise people take advantage of you. So you can be soft, you can be shy on the one hand, and on the other hand, you can be aggressive if people bully you. Or maybe it's like unique to me or a few people. I'm nice and everything, but there's a side of me that you don't want to see. And that side is reserved for real bad people. Really, someone who wants to hurt me or kill me, it's reserved only for them. Because of the past, I've been traumatized, and I realize that some people will take advantage of someone who's too good. They see it as a weakness, too shy. They see it as a weakness and they can bully you. But once you raise your level of nuttiness to a point where they think, I can't mess around with this person is absolutely crazy, they'll leave you alone. You have to fight fire with a nuclear bomb. There was another time where this guy, should I tell you now or tell you another time? Yeah. Anyway, there's so many incidences in London where, was it in the 90s, I got involved in so many incidences and I was so lucky. One was in 2004 when my mum was I was upset because of my mum's chemo and everything. But before that, I got involved in other stuff. Basically, I just got fed up of being bullied. Because in London you do meet so many. You can meet idiots that try and bully you. And it was usually like road rage. People cut you up, and then they go like this. And if you react, you give them a finger or something, then you start, it starts a chain reaction of they come out of the car, you come out of the car, or they try and cut you up, you cut them up, you race. No, and like I just got fed up of all that. If you guys want to know about other incidences, then let me know. I'll tell you about some really horrible ones. that I'll have to, because of YouTube, and the rules, I have to kind of change some of the facts because it would not be allowed. So I'd have to change something. I can't give the raw details because I'll be booted off YouTube. There's a chance of that. But yeah, so you can have a person who's really shy. On the outside is really shy. I want to live a harmonious life. Everyone brothers and sisters, peace and everything. But this is not the world that we live in. And unfortunately, there will be people who bully you or try to take advantage of your kindness or whatever. Because I was bullied in the past a few times, not just once, and I think it traumatized me, and it switched on something inside me, some primal demon. I tell you, when I get angry, not normal angry, when the situations have been situations where people have hit me, have like there's one guy, he thrust some kind of like a plumbing, like a, what was it, like a tube. He tried to get it on my neck. I kept parrying inside the car. This was, I said, please, please leave me alone. Like with open hand gestures, please, until I get to a point. It's like a dynamo. You get to a point where you say, sorry, please leave me alone, please. And then what? And then there's a, like, from the depths of hell inside. If there was hell inside the earth, something rises up. They call it the red mist. I don't call it the red. I just call it. It's an explosion. I have so much energy, so much power. Usually, the person like backs off. Usually, yeah. So basically, going back to what that guy was saying, you can have both. You can have a person who's really shy and really good. If the circumstances are good, if nobody bullies that person, the person is like an angel, is okay. If that person's been bullied in the past, then he or she, it could be a lady as well, can have that trigger where they will react. They will react and they will, fight or argue or whatever if they feel threatened. If they really feel like their life is in danger, they will feel threatened and they'll fight back. I think it's only natural, but it's very taxing. It's very, very taxing. It's like a massive amount of energy or anxiety. And I don't like it. I really don't like it. It's not something that I'm proud of, but I realize that the reason why it happens, or it's happened to me. So there you go. That's my story. Another little chunk of my life. Like I told you about myself. So some people, you don't. I think part of me, I am like naturally, I'm a soft, like a kind person. I think I like art. I like drawing and doing things like that. I like Tai Chi, meditation and stuff like that. But growing up with a father like my father, he was tactless, short, stocky, strong. Like when he used to call me, now I'll shout now, so close your ears. He used to say like Jero, J, or he used to call me Jero. He used to go Jero or Jero. And every time he used to call me, I could bloody feel it. I could feel the shock down into my toenails. Like, so when I was upstairs sleeping and maybe I was lazy, I didn't get up on a Sunday or whatever. He would say, my mum would say, Jero, Jero, come, wakey, wakey. And I used to say, yeah, mum, I'm coming. And she used to call me maybe 3 times. And then I would get the call, my dad's, Jero! Bloody hell, I would get up, I would quickly, yeah, dad, I'm coming. I used to put my heels on the floor so he would hear that I'm coming down. I used to be terrified of his voice. His voice is so powerful. Like, hang on. It was so powerful. I can't do his voice, sorry. But it was deep and like piercing. He had so much like of that really strong energy. My mum was very soft. So I was like my mum, soft. So maybe as a child, he was the only example of a man And so I took on board that energy, that power. I had an example of what a strong man is like. He was my only example, but not very intelligent, very tactless, very no, I mean intelligent, but I mean not very. How do I say thoughtful? Not thoughtful. Not. Sorry for shouting, but just to kind of give you an example of how powerful his voice, his energy was, and I always felt safe next to my dad. I kind of was afraid that he might lose it, might lose the plot. So in that regard, I was kind of nervous. And so I've taken on board that kind of energy. I've got my mum's energy, which is kind of my own energy, the soft energy, but I've got my dad's yang, really powerful energy. He was the one that saved me, and then I took on board that energy. If anybody messes around with me, you know, I have to be like this. You know, but it's a backup. It's the final backup. It's like the nuclear weapon. It's the nuclear option. It's not something that ever ever is revealed or comes out. So going back to that guy, maybe I've explained to you. When you see someone, you see them shy and everything. Don't think that in the depths of their being, there lies like a monster, something that can come out, is ready to take on form when it feels threatened. I don't know, maybe I'm just nutty, but I don't like it. I don't like that person that I am when that happens, but it's something that I don't know, it's developed over time, and if there's any psychologists that watching this, they'll know exactly what it is. I just call it the demon. Yeah, so that's my story for today. I don't know what I can call it. If any of you guys are like this, just leave a comment below, or if you know any guys that are like that, who smash things and can't control themselves. I only get to that point when I've reached such a level where I just explode, and it usually happens in situations when someone's like a really bad situation, like as I said, someone tried to hurt me, hit me, and I'm saying, please leave me alone, which doesn't really happen anymore. But I know that I have that in me, so I'm worried about it. So I don't get involved in any arguments or anything like that, because I don't know what might happen. I'll probably get killed, or I'll go to jail. So I don't want to risk anything. I know this is horrible to say, and being vulnerable or whatever. And then there was a person saying something like that, left a comment saying like, "Don't you know that your children, your family are going to know about this? It's going to be on YouTube forever. Don't you think about them?" You take me for a normal person. You take me for a person who has friends, who has family. I mean, it's not going to affect my children. My children watch some of my videos and they know who I am, you know. So, like, they take me for a person who has a family, who has, soon I won't have a family, who has relatives or I talk to, who has friends. I don't have any relatives or friends that I talk to, girlfriend, no one. So, what do I have to lose? Oh, in the future you might have a. I don't think so. I'm 57 and my life is going like this. As you get older, it's more difficult to make friends. What do I have to lose? I've got nothing to lose, only something to gain. If I can help anybody, then I don't mind looking stupid. I don't mind being vulnerable, if that's what it is. I'm just talking about my life. And yeah, you don't have to worry about me that in the future it's going to be online forever. You seem to think that YouTube is going to be around forever. It won't be around forever. Within, I don't know, 5 or 10 years, there'll be some other platform, or maybe the internet won't be around. There'll be something else. So it's not going to be around forever. But even if it is, even if it is, I'll be in some. I'll tell you what's going to happen to me. I'll lose the house, lose my wife. Won't see my kids that often. They'll grow up and then they'll have their lives. I'll be stuck. If I'm lucky to buy a plot of land and build a hut for myself, and hopefully a secure fence with my dogs. That's it. So what do you expect me to do? I'm not part of this world. At the moment I am, but I won't be soon. So what do I have to lose? I don't get it. I just don't get it. As I said, you take me for a normal person. Don't worry about me. Thank you. So anyway, uh, if any of you guys have had similar experiences or know of anyone, please let me know.